Welcome. Thank you guys for asking questions and wanting a Q&A from me. I know it's been a really long time. I know I'm coming on here like looking like a hot mess. I cut my hair and that is just because I'm a mom, and the only way that I'm going to be able to sit down and do this with you guys is if I just come on like when I have a moment. And so here I am. Baby girl is over here in the swing and hopefully she's just going to chill. A few things that I want to say before I get started on answering your questions, and I'm really excited to answer your questions because you guys did have some really good ones, is that I do want to come back to YouTube, but I want to come back in a completely different way. And I think I might make a separate video talking about that. For me, my perspective on the internet has really kind of shifted, and my perspective on how I feel about sharing my life online, how I feel about even participating in the social media game has completely changed. And I don't really want to like pander to getting the most views or getting the most likes and like posting videos for those like silly reasons. Are you having a good time? You know, I don't want to just come on here and be like, ooh, what's in coffee? Yeah, go hiking with me. If I'm gonna have a presence online, which I don't want a huge presence, but if I'm gonna do something, I want to say something important, right? I also don't like social media. And it's a really hard kind of place to be in the world that we live in now, because social media is the world that we live in now. It's like we're all just living in this outside world, creating content for this online world that's not even real. And I really struggle with that now, especially with my child, and how do I incorporate any kind of presence online and still feel okay about it when it comes to my baby. And first and foremost, that looks like not putting her in videos, which means not vlogging. Really thinking about the relationship that I have with social media, because it wasn't healthy, and I was making videos just to make videos, just to get views, you know, doing like the keyword research and figuring out what was getting views at the time and what should I be posting. And that's not how I want to do this. I'm also wanting to like change up the style to more of just like a conversation, right? This is just me and you sitting here having a conversation, and we're 5 minutes into this already and I haven't even gotten started on the questions, and she's getting a little bit fussy already. So there were some excellent questions on here, and I'm really so excited to get into these. The first questions that I did get were Pacific Northwest related, so I'm just gonna answer those. So the first question is, I bet you've answered this before, but what is the best thing about living in the Pacific Northwest? And for me, that answer is that this is where my family is, and my family spans back several generations in this area. And so it really feels like home. It's like, this is where my heart belongs. There's a lot of things that I don't like about living here. Like the dark, right? It gets really dark. It's really dark right now, and that's really hard for me. But this is home. So that's why I live here. That's why I will always live here. And that's what I love the most about living here. The second question is, have you ever seen Bigfoot? I have not. I think if Bigfoot exists, it's a creature that exists between dimensions, and very rarely blesses this dimension, if that makes sense. So like they're like a fifth dimensional creature, say, that sometimes kind of like pops back in because they can. And they're living here on this plane with us, and are seen oftentimes in like, you know, dense forests, because they think that they can pop into dense forests and be fine, but sometimes they get caught. That's how I feel about Bigfoot. A couple questions from one of my favorites. Do you miss doing YouTube? I do. Not much though. I miss the editing process. I love editing videos. I love creating a story with the video, and that's why I loved vlogging. and it's kind of a bummer that I'm not doing that anymore. But my life is so much more rich and full without it. So, do you plan on going back to work full time? I do. I work from home a lot of the time. I go into the office 1 to 2 times a week, and I love my job. I'm very happy at my job, and I think that I will need a job to keep my sanity having a child. What would you tell a woman who's unsure about wanting kids/pregnancy, but the clock is ticking? Okay, so I was very excited about this question. So I was unsure if I wanted kids for a really long time. And I don't know how many of you know how old I am, but I'm 30. I just turned 30. So that's kind of an older age to have your first only child. I didn't want kids for a lot of reasons. I am selfish. I like my sleep. I enjoy my me time. I need a lot of me time. I need a lot of alone time to feel okay as a human being. I thought that the world was so messed up. How could you bring another life into this world? I didn't think that she would have, or I didn't think that any child that I would have, nature in the way that I did. And I was scared for, what the future looked like. And if I felt comfortable bringing somebody into this world, into that future, because it's not looking like a positive one. And pregnancy, I didn't know pregnancy was going to be as bad as it was. Call me naive. Most people say pregnancy is pretty beautiful and fun and loving. And the examples that I had of pregnancy when I was younger were really beautiful pregnancies. Like my cheerleading coach in high school was pregnant almost the entire time I was in high school. She had 3 kids. She loved pregnancy. She glowed. It was amazing for her. So that was like my main example of what pregnancy was. And that didn't turn out to be the case for me. This is gonna be a pretty broken up video. So I apologize. Hi. Shoot, now I don't even know where it was. I have Molly's right here in front of me, ruining everything. And she's over here, getting antsy. So I got an arsenal of toys so we can entertain the baby. So I am incredibly grateful that I took the chance and made the decision to have a baby. For me, I will only be having 1 baby. And that is because pregnancy was awful. And being a parent is really hard. And I want to be able to focus all of my energy and love and attention on just this 1 child. And I think that if I added more, my quality of life would diminish significantly. With 1, my quality of life has gone up exponentially. I can't even explain how beautiful life is with this 1 child. And so I think if you are kind of on the fence, I think that 1 is the answer, because you get the experience, right? You get to pregnancy, as awful as it can be. You get birth, you get the baby, you get the childhood, you get being a mother. And being a mother changes you too so much. The world is not as bad as you think it is. And every generation has probably thought that before us, that the end is near. And we should not be having children. We should be preparing for the end of the world, because the end of the world has always almost been here, right? This is the first time in history, though, that, women have really the option to marry or have babies. We don't have to do it. And so if you want to have fun, explore your life, explore the world, and if you meet the right person, and you feel like it's time, then I say it's the most beautiful thing that you could ever do. And I love it. I love it so much. I know this person that asked this, I know that you're very young, and you have a lot of time. You do. I know it doesn't feel like it, because everyone's like, oh, by the time you're 35, it's like a geriatric pregnancy. But my mother had me at 39. And I had my child at 29, and there's people having babies in their 30s all the time now because so much has changed. Medicine has, you know, evolved, and we can have babies in our 30s. And I think that people should at least wait until their late 20s, because your 20s are about like having fun and enjoying your life. And so, you know, don't feel like you have to make a decision about it right now. When you meet the right person and you feel like you're ready, then give it a shot. I can't explain how beautiful it is. It's one of those things that you really don't know until you do it. And life is so hard, right? Like, not a lot of sleep, not a lot of free time, not a lot of me time. Like, my life is all about this little girl. And that's hard because I don't get to go to the gym very often, you know, like I don't have a lot of time to just like do stuff for myself. I don't really care because there's so much beauty in being a mother. The next question is, do you think you'll ever be a stay-at-home mom in the future? For me, this is unlikely. Like I said, I do really love my job, and I personally love working in nonprofit, and that's kind of like my calling, I think. I think that if I were ever to leave the job that I'm in now for whatever reason, I don't see that as like a possibility anytime soon. Especially like in her young years, right? So we only have 5 years until she goes to kindergarten, because she was born in August, so she'll be pretty young for going into kindergarten. In that amount of time, I don't see myself leaving the job that I'm currently at. And then she goes to school, and then I need to be working anyways, right? Because I'm just so happy where I'm at. I'm not a stay-at-home mom kind of a girl. I don't think. I've thought about it, and I've always thought that it might be kind of nice. But ultimately, I will only be having one kid. And I think if you just have one child, I work from home, you know, a majority of the time. And I am going to be able to work from home with her. I'm also going to be living on the same property as my mother soon. So I'll have like a built-in babysitter. Yeah, I don't have any need to be a stay-at-home mom, and I'm really happy working. Have you incorporated any sustainable habits when it comes to baby? I am pregnant with my second and would love to know if there are any you recommend. Honestly, no. I hate to say no, but being a first-time mom is really hard. And to even consider like pulling in like reusable diapers or something like that, like I can't. I've heard really good things about reusable diapers, and I know a lot of people that do use them. For me, that's just not an option. I need to just be able to throw it away and move on. Yeah, when it comes to being a mom, there's so much pressure, right? There is so much pressure from society to be a sustainable mom and to, you know, be a homemaker and blah, 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 blah. But that's not the society we live in. If you want to be a homemaker, if you want to find sustainable ways to do things, for sure. I use eco-friendly dish and laundry soap. So that's the best that I've got. I'm definitely not the person to be asking about that, unfortunately. I do what I can, right? And I think that now that, you know, she's a little bit older and I'm not just like completely inundated in the newborn phase, because the newborn phase was really hard for me. More space and room to be, hi, sweetie, to be thinking about stuff like that, maybe I will. And I think that this question has definitely kind of reminded me that I need to be thinking about stuff like that. So thank you. What are your favorite small town things to do now that you're a mom? I don't leave the house, really, if I'm being honest. That's mostly because it went from being like her being a brand new newborn and me scared to like leave the house in a car, to it just being like really shitty outside, like it's raining all the time, every day. And yeah, there's nothing to do in this town except for like go outside. I'm a homebody, and that's just how I roll. How are you surviving the PNW fall, winter, the dark months? I count down the days until the winter equinox on the 21st. And then I know that after that, every day is a little bit lighter, and that gets me through. How do you still feel put together without wearing makeup? Any tips for starting to downsize your personal care / beauty routine? Okay, so for the put together question, I feel put together when I have like a nice outfit on. I also don't care that much about feeling put together. That's not important to me. And I feel put together pretty easily, right? So if I have like an outfit on that's like comfortable and cute to me, then I feel good. I don't necessarily need to feel put together. And I think that just comes from a long time of not caring about what you look like. Any tips? In addition to that too, I feel put together when I feel healthy, like in my body. So for me, I'm really into fitness. I like to work out a lot. Clearly I'm not fit right now because I just had a baby and I can't go to the gym very often right now. But I feel put together too when like my body is like looking snatched, like when my body looks good. And tips for downsizing your personal care and beauty routine. I have never had a personal care or beauty routine. I stopped wearing makeup pretty quickly. When I was like 21, 22, I stopped wearing makeup, and I'm 30. So I've never really had much of a beauty routine. One thing that I do want to say when it comes to that is I would start by looking at what products you have that have dangerous or unhealthy ingredients in them, because you'd be really, really surprised. And I think that removing those, like just remove them, just take them out. Don't even worry that much about replacing them, but just like take out the things that like have ingredients that are dangerous. And a lot of makeup and a lot of beauty care items have things that are not good for your body, and you should not be putting them on your skin. Your skin is an organ. I'm getting worked up because your skin is an organ, and we have been taught that it doesn't matter what we put on our skin. So like, you know, lotions and goos and all of the things, your body absorbs all of that into this giant organ, and all of those chemicals and things go into your body. The only things that I have personal care wise is like soap, shampoo, and coconut oil. That's it. Okay, this is the last question, and I was very excited about this one as well. I'm 25 weeks pregnant with my first, a little girl. Congratulations. That's so exciting. I'm so excited for you. And I'd love to know if there's anything in particular that you'd recommend to do during pregnancy to help prep for little one. Here's what I have to say about that. You're probably all over TikTok, all over YouTube, all over Instagram, all over the internet, figuring out what you need to prepare for your baby. Look, I have spit up on my shirt. And that's great. You're going to find so much information about what you need for your baby, and you're going to be ready. You're going to be ready for that baby. You've got everything that you need for that baby. You're going to have the baby shower. You're going to get all the things. One thing that I did not prepare for, and part of this is because I had her at 38 weeks, so I thought I had 2 more weeks. We weren't ready. One thing that I wish I would have done, and something that I regret, because my postpartum experience wasn't good. And I thought it was good in the moment, but it was actually one of the hardest times in my life. And I think I did have a little bit of postpartum depression, and I didn't know that until now. But some things that would have really helped me is to have a postpartum plan. And people will tell you that. People will tell you, have a postpartum plan. And you're going to be like, whatever, I don't care. I don't care about me. I only care about being ready for the baby. Giving birth is a majorly traumatic event for your body. And you have to heal while also taking care of a brand new baby. And you're ready for the baby, but you're not ready. Oh, damn it. But if you're not ready to take care of yourself, and if you don't have a plan in place, a support system in place, you're gonna struggle probably. So a few things that I would highly, highly recommend you do is, one, have someone start a meal train for you, or start a meal train for yourself, or prep food. Make sure you've got food. If you want to breastfeed, like my breastfeeding journey was ended early, and I think it was because I just didn't have proper support when it came to breastfeeding. If you want to breastfeed, make sure that there is another person there with you for at least the first month. I was alone the whole time, except for 2 hours every day. My mom would come and hold the baby so that I could take a nap, and bless her, that got me through. If it wasn't for that, I would have been in a completely different place. But make sure that, you know, if your husband's not taking maternity leave, have somebody else there with you. Don't be alone in the very beginning. I was, and I think that that played a huge role in why I'm no longer breastfeeding. And that's been a really hard thing for me to accept and deal with, and I'll regret that for the rest of my life. You really need a support system, you need a plan, and you need to have grace for yourself, and realize that you are also healing. You have gone through something very, very traumatic. You're a new person, and births baby, but birth also births a mother, and it's important that that mother is also taken care of. Have a plan for you so that you feel supported. You can be there for the baby as, you know, as full you. You know, you're gonna be struggling on sleep most likely. If they're crying a lot, like that's gonna take a lot out of you. One more thing is, have a plan for sleep, because most likely your child will not want to be put down at nighttime, and you may or may not be sleeping at all. So something that my husband and I did is we split nights. So, and we're still splitting nights. She's going to be 4 months old this weekend, and we're still splitting night shifts. So I take the night from the beginning until 2 to 3 a.m. and then he comes out and has her until morning. And that helped me, at least in the very beginning, get like just a couple of hours. Some nights I really would just be getting like a few hours. Even now, because she's still not sleeping through the night, right? Even now, having that split means that I do a night feed, put her back to sleep, and then I don't have to worry about her again until the morning. He takes care of that, and she's a great sleeper. We're really lucky. She puts herself to sleep pretty easily. She just needs a binky and she's good. But yeah, having a solid plan in place for you both getting like a solid at least 4-hour stretch of sleep is very important. Okay, sorry for getting emotional and crying. Again, I do it all the time. I'm sorry. I love you guys. And I do have a couple of ideas for just some sit down chit chat videos, because I'm just going to be sitting down and chit and chatting, and I've got things to say, and I like to talk on the internet, and so that's what we're going to do. Bye.